Wasn't pretty. Wasn't the most well played game. Ben's injury scared me a bit. But guess where we are for the first time in franchise history? That's right. 8-0, baby. That ending, I already knew where they were going, and I already knew who was going to make the stop. You can't throw it to the middle of the end zone with Minka there. He's a magnet to the ball. Let's just face it. Um, Listen, as ugly as it was, man, I take this win. The defense didn't play up to par like it should have. The play calling at the beginning of the game was absolutely atrocious. Um, some missed pass interference calls, and you know what? Throughout the whole league today, I've seen horrible play calling. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. As far as play calling on some teams and missed penalties, um, but 8-0, man, 8-0. That Ben injury scared me, and the agita really kicked in with Mason. He throws like he's a 2-year-old. He just goes, there's the ball, go catch it. There it is, go catch it. Uh, he proved again why he's not the heir apparent to this friggin' heir apparent to Ben. Um, but yeah, there was definitely some missed pass interference calls on against Claypool in that game, especially in the beginning. There was definitely some missed holding calls. Um, but you know what? This is a game where finally calls went our way, and I was utterly amazed. It was like I was in the friggin' Twilight Zone. It was like, oh, what? We got a huge play where Juju or Deontay gets a first down, and there was a defensive holding. Usually they call offensive holding, and we're utterly screwed. Um, then there was the personal foul on Van Der Esch for the incident with McFarland. Listen, McFarland was just trying to move his hand. It happened to go across your face mask. I think he took it a bit too personal there. But thanks for the extra 15 yards. Thanks for blowing the game. um, this Garrett Gilbert guy, whatever the hell his name is, um, he wasn't bad. And you know what? I'm one to admit when I underestimate somebody. I underestimated him. I don't think he played a bad game. Um, but again, I can't. 8-0. Hayward and Watt came up big when they needed to be. McCarthy was looking for a horse collar. Listen, you know how many times I've seen a horse collar on Ben? It's never called. So shut your fat mouth. All right, Mike McCarthy, shut your fat mouth and eat you. And you know what? Go back to the locker room and eat your loser cake. All right. Um, Man, I'm sorry. I'm just so giddy. It's just 8-0. This team just got something going. They're just a grit. 2 weeks in a row, we've had to come back from adversity, and it had to come down to the longest 30 seconds of your friggin' life. But I take it every time. I'm sure my neighbors don't like it, and I don't really give a shit. Um, like I tell people all the time, there's just a different level to being a Steeler fan. It's just a different level to it. They don't know the anxiety you go through. They don't know any of it. My boss was texting me. There's like a minute 31 left. He goes, now you can breathe. And I literally texted him, no, I can't. The clock has to say 0, has to say final score. Everybody's got to be walking off the field before I can finally breathe. Uh, but we're 8-0, Steeler Nation. We're 8 and friggin' 0. Uh, Juju had a big game. And Fickner needs to just stop play calling and just let Ben do what he does from the line. That's just it. Um, but enough about my team. I mean, I can go on all night about it. The 1 o'clock games are interesting. Bills Seahawks I thought would have been close, but Buffalo came to play today. And Seattle defense, it's going to be more than Jamal Adams to boost you. The Legion of Boom has been dead now for quite a few years, and I don't know if they ever get back to that. Josh Allen went into a duel with Russell Wilson and won. And the key to beating Russell Wilson is you have to make Russell Wilson turn the ball over. Buffalo was able to do that a few times today. And I was actually surprised that the outcome was what it was. I figured it'd be close, but whatever. And then the Kansas City Panther game. Now I said it wasn't going to be easy at first, but then Mahomes would floor it and they would win by 15 plus. Listen, we all get it wrong. We don't know the outcomes before they happen. This isn't friggin' pro wrestling. Where the guys in the back know who's going to win before the match even happens. But the way they played against the Panthers, and people tell me that's a team that my team should be afraid of, I don't see it now. I don't see it. I don't see it. And you can say, well, it was just a hiccup in this schedule. Listen, no. Because having Christian McCaffrey back revitalizes that offense a bit. Because he's a dual threat, running the ball and catching the ball. He's a dual threat. He's very dangerous in that way. He's got a very good skill set. You can't take it from him. Carolina almost beat him. Teddy Bridgewater. The key to Bridgewater having such a good game was no turnovers. The opposite to Russell Wilson. And then you got the Giants-Redskin game. Now, this is one that the Giants, they started off good. They got creative with the playbook. But again, they go away from it. The defense the defense does a great job. And I'm going to talk about the Kyle Allen injury. Jabril Peppers came out and said, that he's sorry. He explained the whole situation. A lot of people on social media saying it's dirty. I don't see how it's dirty when one of the offensive linemen is down on the ground and you trip over him and happen to roll into the quarterback and something like that happens. I'm sorry that's not a dirty play. I think it was Steve Weiss who came out and said it was. I think he said it was dirty. There was another guy who came out. It said it was dirty. It wasn't a dirty hit. Because if you say that's a dirty hit, then every hit on a quarterback's a dirty hit at that point. Daniel Jones, for the most part, played a mistake-free game. There were some throws I question at times. Evan Ingram needs to learn how to catch balls, how to easily catch balls, because the guy will catch balls you don't think he's supposed to catch. They missed a lot of opportunities where that score should have been a lot bigger for them than it was. Alex Smith scares me every time he goes out there because of his recent injury and how bad it really was, to the point that he almost lost his leg. If I'm Alex Smith, it's been reported he's contemplating retirement. I don't contemplate it. I do it. You got to activate Haskins at this point now. And I get Alex Smith brought Washington back, but I don't feel if I was the Washington football team coaching staff, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting him out there to start. Like I guess anything can happen. It happened to Kyle Allen today, and it's unfortunate. Nobody knows the severity of it yet, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Even the Roethlisberger play where he gets friggin' sandwiched and his knee, it bends in an awkward way. I don't think that's a dirty hit. That's just a play on the quarterback you have to make, and there was just a guy behind him at the time, and that's how it happened. But Ben came back, and not only that, he didn't come out of the game right away. He drove us to a touchdown right before the end of the first half. So, and I told you, I thought Washington would be utilized more, but he was utilized on that drive with having the touchdown to start the comeback. The one thing Ben is very good at that some quarterbacks just aren't, and that's that fake double pump. Gets a lot of corners to bite, and he got the Dallas corner to bite real good, and Washington just beautiful play. But back to the Giants stuff. Alfred Morris, I really didn't think would have a big game, and he provided what the Giants needed. But Andrew Thomas is garbage on that offensive line. How many times he's blown blocking coverages, and that's what leaves Daniel Jones wide open to possibly making a mistake. They got to do something at that position. Either do it now or do it in the off season, or have this kid start playing football again and flag football in a 6-year-old division league somewhere to learn how to play. The guard position, because he ain't that great at it. I don't get what these scouts saw in his college game tapes. I'm sure in college he was good, because in college it's different. It's all different rule set for the most part. If anyone saw the Charger-Raider game at the end, we had it on the other TV where we put the mixed channel on. I thought he caught the ball, but then again, I'm concentrated on my game, so I got to go back and watch it. But man, still, Justin Herbert's showing you that I think he right now takes Offensive Rookie of the Year. As far as quarterbacks, he hands down it's him right now. The Cardinal-Dolphin game, Didn't expect it to be a shootout the way it was, but Tua beat Murray. I gotta go look at the stat lines later, maybe for tomorrow's video, and have that all in there. But I'm sorry, I'm still giddy about 8-0. I'm still giddy about it. Ravens, Colts, and this is where my rant on officiating is going to come into play here. Marcus Peters has an interception, but never really has full control of the ball. Yet Al Riveron in New York decides that, we're going to give him an interception. This is where the replay in the NFL has become such an utter friggin' joke at times. As clear as day, and the whole world saw it, even people within the NFL said it was a bad call, and you give them an interception on that one. Granted, you can't sit there and say it cost the Colts a game, because if you really thought the Colts were going to win, they weren't going to. But still. And Lamar Jackson proves he's just a running back who throws passes. He wasn't that great at times, and I just don't see what the hype is on Lamar Jackson. But, Baltimore pulled it out, unfortunately. But, hey, if you picked them and you won money, congrats to you. What other games do we have here as I look at my handy-dandy pad here? Because during the games, I like to write things down of, some talking points. Lions, Vikings, listen, let's just put it at this. How do you line up with only 10 defensemen and don't expect Dalvin Cook to run all over the place for 70 yards and a touchdown? Is beyond me. So we're gonna leave that one there. That was just utter. That is horrible coaching at its finest by Matt Patricia, and he should have already been fired. And if not, he should be fired like immediately for that one. It's just insane. Texans Jags lived up to the other horribleness you thought it would be, but JJ gets his 100th career sack, as everybody probably would have thought he would have. Mahomes is the fastest to 100 touchdowns, beating Marino's record of 44 games. Mahomes did it in 40. But, when you play in a pass-happy league where, these receivers, except for Steeler receivers, get every pass interference call that kind of helps the quarterback out a bit for more yardage to throw touchdowns. Hey. So congrats to you, Kermit the Frog. It was a good, but so far all the games were good though. I think the 4 o'clock games were a bit better because they provided more. They provided that drama effect more. The Steeler Cowboy game gave you it. The Charger Raider game gave you it. And then you had the showdown of the two young quarterbacks. And Tua, I don't blame Tua for everybody hyping up Tua. It's everybody else that's doing it. It's not like when Baker came out and Baker hyped up Baker, and Cleveland hyped up Baker, and Landry hyped up Baker, and Odell hyped up Baker, and Baker's mom hyped up Baker, and the guy down the blocks hyping him up. Tua's being hyped up by fans of football, Miami Dolphins fans, guys that watched him in college. He's not hyping himself up. But Arizona pretty much lost that game, and I gotta go back and watch the replays of that game. So obviously I'm not gonna do that tonight because I got work tomorrow. But maybe I'll do it Thursday, since I'm off from work then. Might do that and see who the blame is on that one. I know there was a strip sack for a touchdown in that game. But Miami's a few pieces away. And they were saying in one of the pregame shows, do you go and draft another quarterback because you're afraid that Tua is not the franchise quarterback? If you're the Miami front office and don't think it, then why would you have drafted Tua with the 5th pick? Why would you have done it? You would have picked somebody. You would have drafted somebody else and left Tua to like the Chargers or to like the Texans or somebody. You wouldn't have drafted him with that pick you had then. I think Tua is going to be your franchise quarterback. I think it's just going to take time for him to develop into the role. And he's got a good backup there, in Fitzpatrick, who can, guide him along the way. And with Fitzpatrick, what a lot of people don't realize, Fitzpatrick's going to be a guy when he retires. He'll get an offensive coordinator position or be a quarterback's coach somewhere. He gets a lot of knocks because he's played for like every team in the league. But the guy is one hell of a quarterback when when he's on, he's on. And I get, he has crappy games and he's had in the past, but you can't knock the guy for when he comes into a game and he lights it up. So Tua is going to learn a lot of the game from him, obviously. Um, the same way Daniel Jones is going to have to learn the game better from. And this is where I don't know if Eli really kind of helped him in any way or helped in his development. If Eli didn't, then I think that's kind of selfish. But Daniel Jones today, though, for the most part, like I said, mistake-free game. He made some big plays. He made throws when he had to make them for the most part. You had the running game that was decent today. And that's what's got to help. That's where the offensive line's got to help Daniel Jones, because if you don't have a running game and you expect this kid to throw all game, and then you can't have Andrew Thomas protect him, that's where he's going to make his mistakes. I think the game builds up confidence. This win builds up confidence for the Giants and in Daniel Jones. Going into next week, I don't know who they play yet. I haven't looked at schedules for next week. I usually do that midweek, and I gauge who I think is going to win from there. Once all the injury reports come out. But all in all, the Giants played a decent game. They like again, on offense, they missed some opportunities to score some more points. But in the end, the defense, you had the one pick where it went off the running back's hands from Washington, and they couldn't capitalize on that. That was a missed opportunity. But then Logan Ryan saves the game with a key interception that gives the Giants the win. And that's something where Daniel Jones has got to take advantage of those opportunities, and you got to put 6 on the board. You can't just settle for field goals all the time, because that's what hurts you. Field goals don't win you games. They only help you when you're already blowing a team out and you just add on to the lead, which in the Steelers-Cowboy game, we get the ball back, and it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and we're going for it. We should have just kicked the field goal there, and we would have been up by a touchdown. Actually, we would have been up by 8. This was 24-19 or whatever it was at the time. So we would have been up by a touchdown or so. And, well, regardless, because Dallas would have to score a touchdown to win anyway. But still, you don't leave points on the table either. You just never do it. You never leave points on the table. And that's the one thing that annoyed me. But then again, if you're not a Steeler fan, you don't understand. They'll always put you in an anxiety state from beginning to end. We've always been known as as a second half team. That's when we wake up a bit. I think that's got to end. I think we got to be all around from beginning to end. We just have to dominate. I got to look and see who we play next week. I think it's Washington, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it's probably Cincinnati. Which is going to be interesting with Cincinnati, because it's going to be Joe Burrow's first game against the Steelers, and I think Cam and TJ are going to welcome him to the league in their own way, even though he's been welcomed to the league quite a bit in certain instances by certain teams. But all in all, definitely a great slate of games. But again, the officiating. It's just atrocious at times, And you can say, well, Jim, the refs kind of helped you out in this game. No, the Cowboys helped us out by being jackasses and creating the penalties for us. There was the roughing the passer on Ben, and okay, I didn't write the rule book, and Jalen Smith came in, and his hand kind of went like this into Ben's helmet, and Ben's head snapped back. The minute the ref sees it, they're calling out roughing the passer every single time. You could be a Cowboy fan that bitches and moans and says, the refs cost you the game. Listen, bottom line is this: the refs didn't cost you the game. Your team cost you the game by creating stupid penalties. If you didn't create the dumb penalties, it wouldn't have given us the opportunity to come back and win. So blame yourselves. Don't blame the fans. The fans shouldn't blame the officials. Blame the team for not closing out the game the way they should. Okay. Bottom line. End of the day, team's got to close out the game. And if we had lost, and I was telling somebody on Facebook, I'm buddy with, I was like, listen, I said there's been some horrible calls in this game, but you can't blame it on the officials. Bottom line is we lose. We didn't play to the level we're supposed to be playing at. But Ben led us back in the end. The penalties helped. Not going to deny that, and I'll take them all day long. But again, there's just when there's a pass interference call, you have to call it. I don't, and and some of them, okay, I get it, if it's ticky tacky, but if it's one where it warrants it, it should. And there was some on Claypool where they did warrant it. Where it clearly stops his momentum for getting the ball, and and literally when he's tackling the guy way before the ball's there, and the official's right there, the back line judge is right there, and still doesn't throw a flag, is beyond me. And this is where the accountability needs to come into play. And even in the Giants game, there was missed calls, and even on the Kyle Allen unfortunate injury, they call Peppers there for roughing the passer. I don't think it's not roughing the passer, because his momentum from hitting the other guy causes him to go into it. That's not roughing the passer. It's not like he did it on purpose, came in there and just said, you know what, I'm going to take your friggin' leg out, blah, 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 whatever, right? No, that's not what happened there. What happened, it was a freak accident, and it doesn't warrant a roughing the passer call there. It just doesn't. These officials need to go back to officiating school and learn how to officiate correctly. Because literally, I've seen in every single game at least 5 missed calls a quarter. 5. And that's a minimum of 5. Sure, there was more, but again, I'm watching one game on one TV, and I'm watching 8 other games on another TV. But again, the officiating, something's got to give here. If play again, and I said it in other videos, and I say it again, if players can be held accountable for their criticism of an official, whether it be the NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, college football, whatever it is, right? Okay. Then the officials should be held accountable for the calls that created the criticism. Meaning that the review committee, Monday morning or Tuesday morning, once week 9 is ended, should all sit in a room and they look at the questionable calls that were missed. And they should know what they are, because they're watching the games the whole time, that they could easily go back and just go, right there, why wasn't that called? Why wasn't that called? If the players can be fined and held accountable, officials should be too. It's just plain and simple as that. And that's where Goodell needs to fix that whole entire situation. Again, it's just something's got to give there. Now that all the afternoon games are done, we got the Saints Bucks tonight. I'm sure Antonio Brown's lacing up his clown shoes, ready to go out on the field. So we're gonna wait and see what happens there. But again, 8-0. And I'm waiting for, because I'll post after a Steeler win, but I'm honest in it. I'll post it was an ugly win, but I'll take it, 8-0. And that's when the haters come out, and the haters start, oh, the refs gave you that game, or, oh, you shouldn't have won that game, or, you guys shouldn't be 8-0, Ben's washed up, and for 7 weeks, all I've heard was cupcake schedule, and I'll hear, oh, you guys should have blown out the Cowboys. You know what? Yeah, we should have, but again, you can't expect a perfect performance week in and week out, regardless of the team you root for. You just can't. You can't take anything away from Dallas. You can't, because they got a good defensive front, with Jalen Smith there, and Van Der Esch, and Sean Lee, and I forget his first name, but Diggs is going to be a decent corner safety in this league for years to come. They got Amari Cooper. When Zeke's healthy, Zeke's unstoppable. You got CeeDee Lamb, who's going to be decent. And when you get Dak back, assuming Dak resigns, Dallas is going to be a team that's going to, they'll make the playoffs again. But they're not going to be, with Jerry Jones as the owner, they're never going to be what they once were. And you can say, well, Jerry Jones was the owner when they won all those Super Bowls back in the 90s. Yeah, but the difference was that they had a good head coach, because he went out and got one in Jimmy Johnson. Mike McCarthy spent 13 years in Green Bay with all that talent in Green Bay that Aaron Rodgers made relevant. and even Brett Favre before Aaron Rodgers. And what happened? One Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy's going to take the Cowboys with this team to 0 Super Bowls because Mike McCarthy just doesn't have it in him anymore to do it. That's why I never liked the signing of Mike McCarthy to the Cowboys. Honestly, I think they got to go with somebody. You, honestly, if Dabo Sweeney is available, and this whole tanking for Trevor Lawrence thing is really true in Dallas, and you're really going to move on from Dak, and you're going to go after Trevor Lawrence, or try to make a trade for the number 1 pick, then you got to let McCarthy go, and you bring in Dabo Sweeney. And watch how fast, with Trevor Lawrence, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and all that talent in Dallas, watch how fast it changes. Because it's utterly pathetic that the NFC East is going to be won by a team who has maybe 6 games at most. Who has 6 games at most. And it's sad that a team like the Giants beating Washington only helps Philly. We help Philly by beating the Cowboys. So pretty much Philly's just going to walk away with this division now, literally with 6 wins. Honestly, I think it should be a crime that you can win a division with 5 to 6 wins. But that's just the way some of these divisions have been at times. I mean, look, the Saints won a division with 7 and 9, and I forget how far they went that year. I don't think it was a Super Bowl year, but they did it. But and speaking of the Saints, Michael Thomas is playing tonight, but from what I heard, he's not going to get his usual 70 snaps. They're going to dial it back. He'll probably get half of what he gets. Because you don't want to risk further injuring him. And I understand that he may not get it, but Sean Payton's making a smart move there. Drew Brees has got to start trusting more of his receivers a bit. He's got to start trusting throwing down the field to him more, because if you want to beat Tom Brady, you're going to have to keep Brady off the field, which means your passing game is going to have to be perfect. Your run game is going to have to be extraordinary. And you literally have to maintain the clock, time of possession, and plays of the game. That's the way you beat Tom Brady. You got to wear their defense down every single time. You got to play them the way Sean McVay coached the Rams when McVay first took over the Rams, where they had that they would snap the ball with like 16 seconds left on the play clock. They literally, they got to the line. The next play was already called before they were up to the line of scrimmage, and that's what New Orleans has got to do tonight to beat Tom Brady. It's just as simple as that. As simple as 2 plus 2 is 4. No matter how you break it down, 2 plus 2 is 4. That's how you beat Tom Brady. You keep him off the field, time of possession, total amount of plays, and you got to score. And not just field goals, you got to score touchdowns. Alvin Kamara's got to run like he's never ran before, and Drew Brees has got to trust all his receivers. Peyton's got to get creative with the playbook tonight, and the defense has got to play mistake-free, because Brady again will take advantage of every penalty in his favor. We've seen it for 20+ years in New England, and he'll do it here too. Okay, that's just it. Bottom line. But I don't see New Orleans winning this game. But I don't see it being a blowout. But hey, if Drew Brees could be one of a select few to ever sweep Tom Brady in a season series, which Brees I think would probably be the first to do it, then hey, so be it. But I just don't see it. We'll have to see how the chemistry is now with Antonio Brown on the team. I honestly think it breaks it up a bit. But hey, if he comes out there and lights it up again, I don't take the guy's talent away. For me, it's more the way he's acted off the field. The way he's acted off the field is what affected him leaving Pittsburgh, and even behind the scenes when he was in Pittsburgh. Then the way he was with the Raiders, and everybody thought it was going to be this trying to think of a word to use when he went to New England. This it was going to be like a rebirth of Antonio Brown. He was going to be the Antonio Brown before he became a diva and got his own hype up with Tom Brady. And Belichick really only signed him just to beat the Dolphins, because then he was released the next day. So we'll have to see what unfolds in that situation. But that game's about to start soon, so I'm going to enjoy the rest of my victory cigar. I'm going to go watch that game. And till the next video, stay safe, and as always, peace.